If you've completed the SAP process and you're getting close to your return to duty test, which is step 5, the next part is step 6, follow-up testing. And it's where a lot of confusion occurs and drivers get anxious about it and there's a lot of bad information. So today I wanted to discuss that. And if we haven't met before, my name's Cindy. I'm a DOT qualified SAP and I conduct SAP evaluations and work with drivers and safety sensitive employees after a DOT violation. Last week I talked about SAP scams. There's a lot of them. But today I want to slow things down and go through step 6, follow-up testing. What it is and what you need to know so you don't get tripped up during this part of the SAP process. Now, step 6 starts the follow-up testing after you've returned to safety-sensitive duty. It's not your return to duty test, and it's not optional. Follow-up testing is required by DOT. And as a SAP, I create the follow-up testing plan, but the employer or your drug testing consortium, if you're an owner-operator, is responsible for carrying it out. The tests are unannounced, they're observed, which means you don't get much advance notice and you can't schedule them yourself. So the minimum requirement per DOT is 6 tests within the first 12 months of a plan. But a follow-up testing plan can last between 1 and 5 years depending on your individual situation and your SAP's clinical judgment. Now, also an important part regarding the follow-up testing plan, the SAP is not permitted to disclose the length of the plan or how many tests are on the plan to the driver, and neither is the employer. Although I hear it a lot that the employer has told the driver how many tests are on the plan and the duration of the plan, but that's against DOT rules. Here's some common myths or bad information I hear or see online. One is you only have to do 6 tests total. Not true. 6 is the minimum in the first year, not the entire plan. So the plan could be between 1 and 5 years and a minimum of 6 tests in the first plan, but the SAP can increase it based on risk. I also hear you can pay to shorten the follow-up testing. You can get the follow-up testing done in 2 weeks. No, follow-up testing cannot be brought down from a minimum of a year. So, and not removed for any fee or anything. So that's a scam. So be careful about that one. One of the big things that can be done is a SAP can change a follow-up testing plan if need be. Like, let's say the employer didn't follow the schedule and they didn't get the tests done like they were supposed to. SAPs can extend or amend the plan. But if someone's promising you shortcuts or guarantees, especially when it's tied to money or like the Cash App or Venmo, that's something to be very cautious about. Don't get scammed. So here's who controls what. SAP creates the follow-up testing plan. The employer or DER, designated employer representative, is responsible for implementing the plan. A consortium, if you're owner-operator, they can manage the testing process for you. The driver is just responsible for being compliant and available. The SAP is not randomly ordering your tests. The SAP does not need the results from the follow-up tests. Actually, I just got this question. We don't get the results. The employer maintains them. So here's how to protect yourself in step 6. First, I recommend you keep copies of your SAP paperwork. They'll be sending you an initial assessment letter and a follow-up letter without the testing plan, because remember, it can't go to the driver. So that's if you don't have an employer. If you have an employer, it's going to your DER, your designated employer representative, which is usually HR or the safety manager. They manage that. Keep any paperwork the SAP sends you. Second, you will not know how long your plan is or how many tests are on that plan. It's not to be disclosed to the driver. That's a DOT rule. And if something doesn't make sense to you, ask questions. Questions are always welcome. It's a confusing process. Your SAP should be able to break it down exactly how follow-up testing works. They won't exactly tell you the specifics of your plan, or they shouldn't, but they can tell you this is how it kind of works. The biggest takeaway here is follow-up testing is required. It's a normal part of returning to duty after a DOT violation. But no one should be scaring you, upselling you, promising shortcuts. Those are scams. So just be careful. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can drop a comment on our video, or my contact information is in the channel description. And If this video was helpful, please feel free to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I try to make videos weekly explaining the process and breaking it down and answering drivers' questions. Down in the description box, I've linked my link tree, which has some free and paid guides over there for the SAP process, if that's helpful to you. And thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.